it's Amy Shaw, the Soul Whisperer here. I haven't made a video in quite a while. If you've been following my channel at all, then you probably have noticed I've been a little bit absent, a little bit silent. I have about 5 different irons in the fire right now. It's not a matter of reinventing myself, it's just a matter of following the flow. Today actually happens to be Labor Day, so it's totally perfect time to talk about this topic that's on my mind for the past few days. I am here in Austin, Texas, and like I said, it's Labor Day. I just got done with the shamanic session. My local work is actually increasing a little bit, and I'm doing a lot more distance work as well, so that's one of the things that I do that keeps me very busy. I am a shaman. But one of the other things that I have been doing, which is a new endeavor for us, something that was completely unexpected, is my husband and I are renovating some apartments that we are, shall I say, managing? I'll just leave it at that. The place was built in 1984. It's in desperate need of some TLC. It's been decades of sort of slum landlord mentality, so a lot of things have gone downhill, been let go, and as we're tearing out stuff and realizing, you know, what's underneath that needs repair, it's turned into a much larger endeavor than we anticipated. The reason that I'm talking about this is because you really, if you're a shaman, you're a shaman, and you really cannot split your time and say, from this time to this time, this is what I am or what I do, and from this time to this time, this is what I am and what I do. It's not like that. It's not like a job where you get to clock out at 5 or 6 o'clock or whatever. I mean, a shaman is who a person's being is, and you pretty much are it 24/7. You don't get to like clock out. You don't get to actually be on vacation. You don't actually even get to sleep, because even in the dream time, we're constantly working and developing our conscious awareness of the work that we're doing in the dream time. So it's an ongoing process. Today is Labor Day. I didn't get the day off. I had shamanic sessions today, which is wonderful. I'm blessed. It's what I enjoy doing most. But like I said, I've also been splitting my time doing a lot of renovation. And I don't see that as fundamentally different than being shamanic work. And I want to talk a little bit about that. Several months ago, I had an inspiration. I won't go into the story because I've already recorded videos about the source of my inspiration and what was leading me into Killeen, Texas. Killeen, Texas is about an hour away from me, drive time, and it's a military town. Fort Hood is there in Killeen. Fort Hood is the 3rd largest army, or I believe military in general, base in the country. And so that's pretty much the culture in Killeen. It's a military culture. It's founded and built around the base. Elvis Presley was stationed there back when he was in the army. So that being said, Fort Hood is old. Killeen is old. A lot of the homes are old. It's an older area. And so while there is a lot of military money, that's a major economy there, so there's a thriving military economy and the supporting, you know, sort of infrastructure around that. There also is a lot of poverty and oppression that's happening in Killeen. The demographic is it's over 50% African American people. And, you know, I think a lot of them move there because the rent is cheaper. You know, they can live there. Here in Austin, Texas, people are being driven out. People that are on the lower income of the spectrum are being driven out. Thousands by the day. As prices increase, rents increase, people can't afford to live here. So they're going to places like Killeen. You know, when the hurricane happened in Louisiana, a lot of people, thousands and thousands of people got displaced. They completely, utterly lost their homes. A lot of them were shipped to Houston, where they were living, you know, in temporary makeshift shelter situation. And from that point, a lot of them ended up staying in Houston, and then a lot of them dispersed throughout Texas. So Texas has a lot of people that came out of the hurricane, that got displaced during the hurricane. So Killeen is an area that's, you know, I would say impoverished. It's older, the buildings are older. So I had this calling to go into Killeen and start a shamanic practice, Buffalo Medicine Lodge, specifically to work with the disabled veterans, you know, mostly those that have PTSD, traumatic injury, and that type of thing. It was really, really my heart, really, really my calling. I struggled because it was going to take a lot of money to actually build the practice and, get the building and the space and do everything that I had in my vision that I wanted to do. That often is the case for me, as I have a lot of vision, and manifesting is a little bit difficult. I'm still working on those aspects. But I tried this, it didn't work. The spirit said, do this. I did, long story short, I tried. I was driving up there every week and holding a drum circle, trying to build community around concepts of shamanism so that I could bring in other healers, other shamanic type people, other people interested in working with veterans. And, we could build a community and together, sort of hand in hand, reach out to the larger community and bring in, the veterans. So that was really my mission. That was my goal. I was driven. I felt a passion for it. I was diligently working on that, which is a huge part of manifestation, is actually like doing something to make it come to fruition. So I was going through all those steps. Well, I won't go into it, but one thing led to another, and then here I was. Well, all of a sudden, this sprung up, and here's this property, and now my husband and I are working on renovating it, and so here I am in Colleen. And now I'm looking back and I'm thinking, well, it's really interesting that it was really laid on my heart, this heavy burden for the community of Colleen. And here I am. I have this opportunity to renovate property. It isn't exactly the vision that I had of, being this shaman that was like creating this tribe and doing this healing work. That it isn't the vision. But I'm telling you, my husband and I consistently have been driving up to Colleen, doing this work, and the block that the property is on is very, very ran down. It's, I would say, 80 to 85% African American. I'm talking like it's terrible. You drive down the street and there's trash all over the place. The trash cans are in the street. You look in the windows and there's a bunch of broken blinds, and it's just really an impoverished area. It looks terrible. It looks like people that live there don't care about it. That, they've given up on life. That's not what matters to them, living in a safe, clean place. So they don't maintain it. The property managers and owners aren't maintaining it. It's just terrible. But to me, like, we bring a different level of energy. We bring a different vision. We bring, a different vibe. So we're moving forward regardless of what's happening outside of the building that we're working on, the building across the street, the building next door. We're just moving forward to make this a safe, clean, new, well-maintained, well-cared for space for the tenants that live there. So we've been consistently going up there since early July. And here we are, September. So July, August, September, 2 solid months, several times a week. We're driving up there and working on the renovations. So the neighbors are out and about, they're taking their trash out, they're getting in their cars, whatever they're doing, and they see us there. They see us actively present and obviously actively renovating this property. And it's amazing. It's amazing just in that 2 months, the energetic change that I've seen happen, not just in the building that we're taking care of, but in the whole entire neighborhood. The tenants in our building next door to the apartment they're renovating, actually took the initiative to go out in the backyard. It's a community backyard. There was an old nasty mop back there. There was a broken down washing machine back there. There was like an igloo container that was full of a bunch of crap and nasty. There was just a bunch of like junky crap in the backyard that somebody like threw back there at one point or another, just left it. It's not my responsibility, so no one was picking it up. When we first stepped foot on the property, there was literally trash, like in the grass in the front yard. It's a very small patch of grass, but there would be like a paper plate, or there would be like a wrapper from some kind of food or something. And, I would wonder myself, how are these people like walking into their apartment and they're walking past this trash every day, and what are they saying to themselves? Well, that's not mine. I'm not going to pick it up. I'm not that type of person. Even if it's not mine, it would irritate me to have to pick up someone else's trash, but I don't want to live like that. I don't want to have to walk past someone else's trash every day. So I'm the type of person that would bend over and pick it up. And essentially that's what we've been doing, slowly but surely sort of cleaning up. And people are taking notice because, like I said, the tenants next in the apartment directly next to the one that we're renovating in the same apartment complex building, they took the initiative and went out in the backyard and they cleaned up all the junk and they hauled it to the curb. So now, this communal backyard is completely clear of all the crap that was back there. So that's amazing. Why hadn't they done that before we started showing up and renovating the property? Why did they, all of a sudden take an initiative? Well, I take credit for that because I believe that it's our presence there, that they see how hard we're working, how much we want to make it a clean, safe place. And so I've seen this sweep happen actually all across the whole entire block, where, when we pull up to work on the property, I'll see more and more people are pulling out junk. There's crap on the curb for the trashmen to come and get. Mattresses and futon, just all kinds of stuff that we weren't seeing 2 months ago. Just in the last 2-3 weeks, we've started to see this. So it's like this cleanup effort is actually happening across the whole block. And so for today, this is my shamanic work. It doesn't just extend to me banging a drum and me doing a rattle and me doing extraction and me doing soul retrieval and all these kind of shamanic services for individuals. It extends into the presence that I bring into the community, the hope, the heart, the vision, the hard work, all of that. And it has an effect. So it's really hard because, I've been doing this a while now, and I've heard the whole conversations about how healers, shamans, light workers, whatever people want to call themselves, that they shouldn't get paid for their services. It's a spiritual service and you shouldn't get paid. I've heard the other side of the argument, which I tend to favor more because I'm in the situation and I understand. It's awful hard to put in an 8 or 9 hour day in a job where you're clocking your time and then come home and after, given all that you've given, and then do shamanic work, like in the evenings and the weekends. It's exhausting. Shamanic work is exhausting. People don't really realize that I may spend an hour or an hour and a half with a client, but on the back end of that, I've spent at least an additional hour, half hour before, half hour after, preparing, cleansing the space, getting in my power, doing the things to maintain, to get ready for the session. And then during the week, when somebody's my client, I literally carry them. And so all through the week, as Spirit brings their situation, their name, their heart to my heart, I immediately, not only are they taking up my headspace, I immediately stop what I'm doing and I do a little bit of shamanic work at that moment for that person. Every morning I get up, and before I even get out of bed, I spend anywhere from 45 minutes to 2 hours doing shamanic work every day. For people that I love, people that have asked me for that additional help, and for the clients, that I'm continuing to carry. So there's a lot more involved in it than just the hour that I'm spending face to face with somebody, whether that's, through video conferencing or literally like today in person with the person. It's a lot of work. And it is essentially a full-time job. But my point I'm trying to make today on Labor Day is that job does not just stop at the end of the session or with this particular client, or it doesn't have to necessarily look like this particular work that you're doing. If you're a shaman, you're always a shaman. So you can't really say that I don't have time to be a shaman or I can't be a shaman, because even if you're forced to work, in an 8-hour job, I have someone that's learning along with me right now, and his only day off is on Sunday because he works. He's also going to school. He's got a very busy life. He has to maintain his physical existence. It's the market economy that we live in, and his only day off is on Sunday. So trying to accommodate him, when I do my distance sessions, because he, lives in a different state than I live in, I schedule all those sessions on Sundays to accommodate him so that he can attend the sessions and, learn. And so a lot of people are in that situation, you know, to come at it or to come to shamanism thinking, well, I'm going to make a lot of money, or I'm going to be rich at it, or, you know, I'm going to even make enough money to support myself. It might not necessarily be the case. You have to sort of go with the flow is really what I'm saying. And it's not just about the money, but just going with the flow of where you're needed and how you're needed. Shamanism is 150% about service. If it's not about service, it's not about heart, it's not about giving yourself and benevolence, it's not about compassion, then it's not shamanism. I mean, then that's just it. It's sorcery. And I know I talk a lot about that. There's a reason I talk about that. It's part of my karma in this life, to really clear a lot of the sorcerous things that I did in shamanic capacities in previous lives. And so that's something that I hold in high integrity for me in my practice in this life, is that distinction between shamanism and sorcery, and making that distinction clear for people so that they can know, because anybody can essentially say they're a shaman, and a lot of people who say they're shamans are shamans, but they're not practicing shamanism, they're practicing sorcery, and there is a distinction. So it's important that we understand these things, and this is why I bring it up, that there is this distinction. Sorcery happens. So if it's not from a heart of service, then it's not shamanism. And a heart of service doesn't say, well, I don't clean toilets, that's not what I do because I'm a shaman. Or, you know, because I have this high esoteric philosophy and all these spiritual ideas, that makes me a shaman. No, none of those things actually make you a shaman. What makes you a shaman is that you are willing to be of service. And so for me, it's a matter of going with the flow and learning to define my practice as I'm being called into whatever role I'm being called to. Right now, it's renovating property. And right now, it's bringing the integrity and shamanism and heart for people, for serving people, for making their living spaces safe and clean and modern. And that's what it's about. You know, bringing that energy into an impoverished community that's discouraged, that's been oppressed, that, you know, needs that extra hand up to say, hey, we're going to make this place nice for you, and we're not going to charge you twice the rent for doing all this work that we're doing, because you deserve to live in a nice, clean, safe space too. And all we ask in return is that you keep it clean, that you respect it, you know. And so it's a mutual relationship that we're entering into in the community that we're working at. And that, to me, is the essence of shamanism. That's what shamanism is. So I just wanted to encourage you in that today. I have so much going on. You know, I've had 5 adults and 2 small kids, my grandkids, living in my house for the last 3 months. So it's been very, very overwhelming to me. I haven't really had time to make videos. I've kind of lost my desire to represent myself on that front. But once in a while, I do have something I want to share, and it's worth making a video. Whether I have time to actually like edit it and upload it is a whole different story. But you know, things are slowly starting to calm down, and we're finding our equilibrium, and I'm learning how to split my time up appropriately so that I can move more fluidly between, you know, this type of shamanic work that I'm doing and this type of shamanic work that I'm doing and this type of shamanic work that I'm doing, because I do have a lot of irons in the fire. But it's seamless to me. I don't see it as like distinct, separate things, you know. I'm still serving in other roles with other, you know, things I have going on in organizations I'm working with and stuff like that too. So I have a lot going on, and it's all shamanism. That's really what I want to say, is that it is all shamanism. So I hope that encourages you. If you're feeling discouraged and you're feeling like, well, I should be making money doing this, or how do I build a practice doing this, you know, just kind of let go of that and learn to go with the flow. And the money will sort of follow as it needs to follow. You know, be who you're being asked to be who your community needs you to be. That's the most important thing, and all the rest will follow. So have a very blessed day. I hope that this really encouraged you. And I appreciate you being here. As always, you can reach out to me here on YouTube, on Facebook, through my email, through my website. And definitely go check out the urbanshaman.online and see, you know, if there's any articles there that interest you, or if you're willing to contribute to that project in any way, I would love to talk to you about that. So, all right, have a blessed day, you guys. Bye.